All right, so let's talk about one of the fundamentals of second and third order consequences. Now, we've already covered this in the course. We did a mindset video on this. But I think in terms of how I do fundamental analysis, the consideration of second and third order consequences is so crucial to building a thesis, to analyzing a project. And one of the ways that most investors go wrong with their fundamental analysis is they don't consider what each thing they look at means and what each thing they look at can mean for the future. A lot of people, they'll do fundamental analysis and all they'll do is list off attributes of the project. Attributes of the project only mean something if that attribute changes something into the future. Okay? The team's great. What does that mean? You're a retail investor. How important is the team? I know tons of projects that have great teams which you would not have wanted to invest in, okay? Because you would have had to buy it at the right time still, right? You buy BNB at the end of the bull run, you're down a lot on your money. You could have used fundamental analysis to understand that maybe BNB was not a great investment going forwards, even though the team is excellent, right? FTX. Right, you could have still lost money there. So I think purely looking at just the face value of what a team, what a community, what a project's vision, what all these things can mean is only going to get you so far. In the way that I do fundamental analysis, I look at what's in front of me, but I'm always considering what that thing in front of me means going into the future, right? Because there's a first order consequence, a second, and a third order consequence, right? Generally, we focus on these three. Most people, they'll analyze a project with its fundamentals, and they'll just look at the first order consequence. So they'll say the team's good, the community's strong, has a small market cap, the coin's new, good tokenomics, all these things. But you have to ask yourself, what does that mean? Why is a good team going to impact this project? What is it about the team that's good? Why is the community good? What is that going to do? You have to ask yourself, what does each attribute mean? How is each attribute going to improve going forward? Because you need to understand an amazing team has that priced in, right? The amazing team is priced in, because everyone knows the team's amazing. And so they buy it knowing that the team's amazing. You only make money by buying something before other people know about what you know, or by guessing correctly what is going to happen into the future, because markets are forward-looking. So an amazing team doesn't mean anything unless the team's going to get more amazing, or unless something that the team makes is going to increase the value. But just because the team itself is good doesn't actually mean anything, because that's a first-order consequence. The team's good. That's the first thing. Well, what's the consequence of a good team? Well, maybe it means that they're able to pivot into this new sector, which is going to boom, which is going to cause the token price and the fundamental value to increase. So maybe the second-order consequence is this team's great and they're just about to make a pivot into a new sector. I expect the coin to go up because this new sector is really promising and it's going to bring a lot of new attention to the coin. That is a second order consequence way of analyzing why the team is good, right? You're looking at the team can pivot fast, and so it's able to move across to this new sector that I'm seeing. That is how you make money on the fundamentals of the team. Let's do another example. Let's talk about what's another one? Maybe what's another one, I guess? Perception versus reality. So let's say everyone perceives the coin as really, really shit. And the reality is that the coin's actually really good. What is the catalyst going to be that makes everyone understand this, right? So the coin is underpriced, but a coin can stay underpriced for a long time. So what is it that's going to kick off this coin to sort of regain its true value? What's the second order consequence? What's the first order consequence, right? So maybe the team. Okay, so you say perception versus reality. The first order consequence, the team the perception is worse than the reality. Okay, cool. Face value, perception, straight up is worse than reality. Okay, but what does that mean? Well, it means that when this new update comes out in 2 months, which is going to bring a lot of people's attention, that's going to be the wake-up call that brings in a lot of users, which is going to make the price go up. So you can see that the first order consequence is that it's underpriced, and the second order consequence is, well, the reality is that this new update's about to come out, and it's going to make all these new people come in. And it's through that analyzing what each thing means and what that causes, the chain of reactions, that gets you a really strong thesis. Okay, now I know that's a long introduction, but I just want to give you a summary. And if you find yourself always late to trades or plays, it's because someone else in the market had considered what you are seeing now many steps ago, right? You buy a coin because you see that it's the leader of this bull run, it's getting all the volume. Someone bought 12 months ago expecting this coin to be the leader because of a third order consequence that he was seeing. So you're buying it after he had already sort of priced that in. So to stay ahead, like Kun says, you got to see the second and third order impacts of all of the different fundamental characteristics that you're looking at. Okay? Thinking multiple steps ahead of the market is a requirement. Markets are forward-looking, and you make money by correctly guessing what happens in the future. So your market experience dictates how often your estimations are right. So the problem with telling you look at second and third order consequences is most of you guys don't have the experience to be able to do so. You don't have the skills to be able to analyze 2-3 steps ahead, because it is a skill that you have to learn, right? The reason I know that Coinbase gets all the users and they go to Base and they go to Toshi is because I know from experience that meme coins are the highest beta play because I've seen it firsthand. I know that money flows where people send it to, where Coinbase sends it to, right? I know that Coinbase is going to send money to Base because I've spoken to the Coinbase and Base team. I know what the internal documents are, the internal plan is that most people don't know. So you can see that your ability to dictate what happens in the future comes down to, do you have information that other people don't have access to? And this is why, for example, with my mastermind, it's such a valuable resource, because you're getting access to all this information, which allows you to make the correct second and third order consequence, or create the correct or the most accurate second and third order consequences, because you have access to information which allows you to do so. I wouldn't know that Coinbase was going to send all its users to Base if I did not know my friend who works at Coinbase, who already spoke to the team about this. It was him telling me this that helped me build the third order consequence, the second order consequence of my thesis behind Toshi, for example, what I'm just talking about here. Okay, so let's give you an example of what first, second, and third order consequences look like. So for example, Coinbase is going to get lots of adoption this bull run. Coinbase is getting all these users, blah, blah, blah. What's the first sort of order consequence of the Coinbase adoption? Well, if Coinbase gets all this adoption, it's, the stock's going to go up, right? You buy the coin stock. Pretty straightforward. That's the first consequence. That's what you think of it, the first thing you think of. But there is more to this than meets the eye, because this has flow-on effects, right? If this happens, this is not the end of this chain of events, right? This happens, which causes this, which causes this, which causes this. Let me show you a better example. Imagine a circle, right? Can I draw a proper circle? So let's see how good my circle is. Oh, okay. Now imagine you throw a ball in this circle, and the ball just moves forever, right? The ball goes here, and then the ball goes here, and then the ball goes there, right? If you use the correct math equation, you can, before it happens, guess that the ball was going to go here, and the ball was going to go here. And you can say, okay, based off the math and what's happening here, I can guess the second order consequence is that the math is telling me it's going to go here, right? So then the ball bounces, boom, you guessed it right. Okay? The same thing happens with Coinbase, right? So Coinbase gets all the users, hits this corner, I can do math sort of to determine the next spot it's going to hit. So, okay, well, Coinbase internally said it wants to send all its users to base, right? So it's going to hit over here, right? Boom, guessed it correctly. And now the third order consequence is, okay, well, second order consequence, I should buy Toshi because all the money is going to go to base, right? Second order consequence. Now the third order consequence, I can do math and guess it's going to hit over here. So my guess is that, okay,